Hi guys, I hope you're all safe at home and enjoying some nice cooking from time to time. This next one is an old school classic. It's very comforting and fragrant. It's the chicken cashew nut. Check it out. It's very important to follow my steps because it is easy, but there are a lot of steps to follow. So first, it's very important to season the chicken before starting doing anything else. So we're gonna cut them into small cubes. So 500 grams of chicken should be enough for 4. So I'm gonna season with half a teaspoon of salt and mix well before putting it back in the refrigerator while I'll prepare the rest. I'm gonna cover that and move to step number 2. Next step, I'm gonna be making the sauce, which is gonna be in a mixing bowl. I'm gonna put in 60 grams of soy sauce, 45 grams of rice vinegar, ,60 grams of honey, and this part is very important. 10 grams of sesame oil. I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of cornstarch, which is gonna thicken the sauce later on when it's cooking. And finally, 50 grams of water. Now I'm gonna incorporate the whole thing. Now it's very important to be very precise with these measures, so follow my steps very well. We put this aside and we move to the third step, preparing the ginger garlic paste. For that, I'm gonna use my blender. I'm gonna put in 3 big cloves of garlic, 1 red hot chili pepper, seeded of course, 40 grams of fresh ginger that I'm gonna simply peel, and some sunflower oil, just about 30 grams. Now this is gonna give it the intensity and the heat. I put this aside and I move to the 4th stage, which is chopping the veggies. So I'm gonna slice some red onion into wedges. About 100 grams should be enough. 1 whole scallion. I want you also to use the green part. It's where most of the flavor is. It's completely different from the white part. And to have a very colorful plate, I'm using 1 orange and 1 red bell pepper, about 100 grams each. Now look at this beautiful bowl full of colors. You also put it aside And now the final prep stage is coating the chicken with corn flour. So I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of corn flour to that, but I'm gonna put them in 2 stages. So I'm gonna let them cover one part with 1 tablespoon. Then I'm gonna mix it up. Try to get as much of that chicken covered. After mixing, I'm gonna add the second part, which is another tablespoon. And mix again. The idea here is to get the chicken as white as possible and evenly white. Voila, this is what we're looking for basically. So now the chicken is not sticking to each other. So now it's time to start cooking. I'm gonna start by toasting 150 grams of raw cashew nuts into my wok on medium heat with a tiny bit of sunflower oil. Just a few drops. That would be enough. Once they're nicely toasted, I transfer them into a bowl to add them in the end. Next, over medium-high heat, I put in about 100 milliliters of sunflower oil. Once the oil is hot, I throw in my chicken and turn on the heat to maximum. Now it is very important not to overcook the chicken. You don't want to have some dry chicken breast in there. So we're gonna let it cook, but keep it moist inside. That should take about 2 minutes on high heat. At this point, we're ready. Turn off the heat. And I'm gonna transfer my chicken into the bowl so I can remove the excess oil. I don't want all that oil in. And I'm gonna reuse it. So there goes my chicken. And I'm gonna reuse some of that oil for the rest. So put half of that in. So over medium-high heat, I'm gonna put in all my veggies. After about 1 minute, I'm gonna add in my ginger garlic paste. Now reduce your heat to medium. Put the chicken back in. And now, last step is adding the sauce and let it simmer a bit till it thickens just enough. Now, as soon as the sauce becomes thick enough to your preference, it's time to serve. Of course, last thing you're gonna do is add the toasted cashew nut. Now this is exactly what I'm looking for, the exact consistency of the sauce. So it's basically ready to serve. Wow. Now you can serve this with anything you want, noodles, rice, fried rice, you name it. Reminds me of the times when Chinese restaurants were famous. That was the thing that we used to always order. This is it. Perfect. Enjoy.